Jeremiah chapter 48. Against Moab, the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, declares: Woe to Nebo, for it is devastated. Kiriathaim is put to shame and captured. Misgab is confounded and dismayed. Moab will no longer be praised. In Heshbon they have devised evil against it. Come, let us cut it off from being a nation. O Madmen, you too will be cut down. The sword will pursue you relentlessly. A cry of anguish will resound from Horonaim, a place of plunder and great destruction. Moab is laid waste, even its little ones cause a cry to be heard. Continuous weeping ascends as they go up to Luhith. At the descent of Horonaim, the enemies hear cries of destruction. Flee, save your lives, and be like a wild desert plant. Because you have trusted in your works and treasures, you will also be taken captive. Chemosh will go into captivity with his priests and princes. The spoiler will come upon every city, and none shall escape. The valley and the plain will perish as the Lord has spoken. Give wings to Moab that it may flee and escape. Its cities will be desolate, with no inhabitants. Cursed is the one who does the work of the Lord deceitfully. And cursed is the one who withholds the sword from shedding blood. Moab has lived at ease from its youth. It has settled like wine on its dregs, never poured from vessel to vessel, never gone into captivity. Therefore, its flavor remains, and its aroma is unchanged. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will send wanderers who will make them wander, emptying their vessels and breaking their jars. Moab will be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How can you say, We are mighty and strong for war? Moab is plundered, its cities are deserted, and its chosen young men have gone down to slaughter, declares the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. The calamity of Moab approaches swiftly, and its affliction is hastening. All around, those who know Moab mourn. They say, How the mighty staff is broken! The beautiful rod! O daughter of Dibon, descend from your glory and sit in thirst. The spoiler of Moab will come upon you, destroying your strongholds. Inhabitant of Aroer, stand by the way and watch. Ask him who flees and her who escapes, what has happened? Moab is put to shame, for it is broken down. Howl and cry out, declare it in Arnon. Moab is devastated. Judgment has come upon the plain country. Upon Elealeh, Jahaz, Mephith, Dibon, Nebo, Beth-diblathaim, Kiriathaim, Beth-gamul, Beth-meon, Kiriath, Basra, and all the cities of Moab, far and near. The horn of Moab is cut off, and its arm is broken, declares the Lord. Make Moab drunk, for it magnified itself against the Lord. Moab shall wallow in its vomit and become a derision. Was not Israel a derision to you? Was he found among thieves? For whenever you speak of him, you shake your head in derision. O you who dwell in Moab, leave your cities and dwell in the rock. Be like the dove that nests in the sides of a gorge. We have heard of the pride of Moab, exceedingly proud. Of his loftiness, arrogance, and pride, and the haughtiness of his heart. I know his wrath, declares the Lord, it is futile. His boasts accomplish nothing. Therefore I will wail for Moab, and I will cry out for all Moab. My heart shall mourn for the men of Kir-heres. O vine of Sibmah, I will weep for you. Like the weeping of Jazer. Your branches have gone over the sea. They have reached to the sea of Jazer. The spoiler has fallen upon your summer fruits and your vintage. Joy and gladness are taken away from the fruitful field, and from the land of Moab. I have made wine cease from the winepresses. No one treads with shouts of joy. Their shouting is no shouting. From the cry of Heshbon to Elealeh and Jahaz, they have uttered their voice. From Zor to Horonaim, like a 3-year-old heifer. For even the waters of Nimrim have dried up. Moreover, I will cause to cease in Moab, declares the Lord, the one who offers sacrifice in the high places, and the one who burns incense to his gods. Therefore my heart moans for Moab like a flute, and my heart moans like a flute for the men of Kir-heres. For the riches that he has gotten have perished. For every head is shaved, and every beard cut off. On all the hands are gashes, and sackcloth is draped. There shall be lamentation on all the housetops of Moab, and in its streets. For I have broken Moab like a vessel in which there is no pleasure, declares the Lord. They shall wail, how it is broken down! How Moab has turned his back in shame! So Moab has become a derision and a horror to all those around him. For thus says the Lord: Behold, one shall fly swiftly like an eagle, and spread his wings against Moab. Kiriath is taken, and the strongholds are seized. And the heart of the warriors of Moab, on that day, shall be like the heart of a woman in her birth pains. And Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he magnified himself against the Lord. Fear, the pit, and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of Moab, declares the Lord. He who flees from the fear shall fall into the pit, and he who climbs out of the pit shall be caught in the snare. For I will bring these things upon Moab, the year of their punishment, declares the Lord. In the shadow of Heshbon, fugitives stand powerless. For a fire has gone out from Heshbon, a flame from the midst of Sion, and it has devoured the forehead of Moab, and the scalp of the sons of tumult. Woe to you, O Moab! The people of Chemosh have perished. For your sons have been taken captive, and your daughters into captivity. Yet I will restore the fortunes of Moab in the latter days, declares the Lord. Thus far is the judgment on Moab.